Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the player ratings show after Liverpool beat West Ham United by 3 goals to 1. 3 goals in a game of footy. 3 brilliant goals in a game of footy. It was just class, wasn't it? From start to finish. Anyway, we're here to do the player ratings show, of course. So the first one up is Alisson Becker. The vote is open for Alisson already. You can see that you can get involved and you can vote on the screen. If you want to vote, just type in !vote space and the number and press enter. And we will be voting for Alisson, who had a decent game, to be honest with you. I think he only makes 1 save. I don't think he can do too much about the goal itself. Obviously, I think Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain doesn't block his man well enough. I don't think it's his job actually to track him, but he definitely doesn't block him, and then obviously they get it and whatever. But Alisson, I thought, did a good job in sort of patrolling the edge of his penalty area. You know, there was a couple of times where he comes out, and one time was just beautiful where he skins his man and then plays the ball off to the midfielder and stuff like that, and you're just like, oh man, Alisson Becker, best goalkeeper in the world. And I think with Liverpool's high line and probably a little bit of pace that we're missing from Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez not being in the side, it's actually more important now than ever before that Alisson patrols that edge of the area, and he does it so well that it gives the defence confidence to continue to play that high line, which gives in turn the midfield more space to work in and the attack and stuff like that, and Alisson's a big part of that. He gets an 8 out of 10 from you guys, which I completely agree with. I think that's an absolutely fair reflection of Alisson Becker's game today. So we'll open up the poll next for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and you know, Trent again, you know, a big game for Trent, coming off the back of a very good game midweek against Tottenham. And I think he was a little bit more sort of structured in his performance today. Didn't bomb forward, certainly in the first half, to the extent that we usually see from Trent Alexander-Arnold. And yeah, it was probably a decent performance from him, to be fair. Like probably more like between a 7 and an 8 out of 10 for me. Again, he had, I think, 4 or 5 crosses. Don't think he completed the cross, but again, a willing runner, and I think with Trent, he's not so open to running forwards because he does leave this space behind. And you know, with Nat Phillips playing alongside him again, I think we don't need to overcommit, and I think that's where Trent is. So it was a very good, responsible performance from Trent Alexander-Arnold in today's game, and yeah, so that's where we are. I think he certainly looks like he's getting back in form for me, Trent. And yeah, again, not an outstanding performance today from him, but a decent performance. Again, playing alongside Nat Phillips is hindering him somewhat, but then equally, we didn't need all those bodies to go forward today. We didn't have to overcommit and leave ourselves open for the counter-attack. So yeah, I was really pleased with that from Trent Alexander-Arnold. And you guys have given him an 8 out of 10 as well. We'll open up the poll next for Nat Phillips anyway. Big Nat, and it was a big performance from Big Nat, wasn't it, today? And I just love the way he puts his body on the line, to be honest with you. I think it's something that he's just fully committed at all times, isn't he, Nat Phillips? And, you know, whether that's throwing his head on it, whether it's throwing his body into it or whatever, I just think right now that Nat Phillips is looking like a good option for us at the back. And, yeah, for me, another really, really good performance from Nat Phillips. And I can see that loads of votes are coming in, they're flying in, lots of 9s, even a few 10s and stuff like that. And it looks like the vote has been restarted for Nat Phillips, which is a little bit interesting, but I can see that a lot of votes are coming in for 8 and stuff like that. Seems to be going a little bit mad this at the moment, Si. Is everything all right with this as far as we go? Right, okay, so I say his body's on the line. I mean, the Nat Phillips vote just keeps starting over and over again for me, Si. We're now only on 30 seconds again. It's just flying into the chat, which is really strange. So look, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10, Nat, because I think what he's able to do for us, to be honest with you, is just give us a measure of consistency at the moment, and I really like that from Nat Phillips, to be honest with you. I'm just going to spew this off for now, because it's just almost impossible for me, Si. So I'm going to go on to talk about Jordan Henderson. I just think he bossed it again, and it was interesting that Klopp mentioned that James Milner actually said to Jordan, I think he said it was James Milner, he said to Jordan, like, you need to stop playing so well, mate, otherwise you might find yourself at centre-half permanently. And that's the type of performance that we're getting from him. He's winning his aerial battles, he's shouting, you can hear him, he's a leader on the pitch, and he's enabling us to get further up the pitch. There's a couple of nice little runs from Jordan as well. I thought it was a proper sort of 8 or 9 out of 10 performance. So I'm going to give the captain a big 8.5 out of 10 there for Jordan Henderson. Andy Robertson, I think, sort of similar similar, to be honest, as Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't think he massively overcommitted. I think first half he was maybe more involved in the play. I think he misses his mate Sadio Mane up on that left-hand side. But again, another good, solid performance from Robbo, and again, supported well where necessary. So I'm going to give, if we give Trent an 8, I'm going to give Andy Robertson an 8 as well. Gini Wijnaldum, man, I mean, where'd you start with Gini? I think in the 6, again, another outstanding performance in that 6, you know. He obviously gets that goal as well, and maybe he wasn't expecting to get a goal today. He probably wasn't expecting to get a goal even when Bobby Firmino was passing him the ball, but that's brilliant, isn't it? When you think about your number 6 being in there in the 6-yard box and knocking things away into the back of the net. I just thought he was outstanding, and I'm going to give Gini Wijnaldum a 9 out of 10 there for him. Onto the 2 midfielders. I've got it as sort of a diamond midfield at the moment, and I think Milner and Thiago were both boss, to be honest with you. I'm going to start with Thiago, and I think we're starting to see Thiago, aren't we? You know, he wins a lot of duels today. I think he wins 7 of his 9 duels on the ground today, a couple of headers as well, but he's starting to really own that midfield and dominate that midfield performance as well, isn't he? And I really sort of like that from Thiago, and I think he, as I mentioned, he controlled the game and he's getting better and better and better. So another good performance for me from Thiago, and I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10 for Thiago. There's a nice little ball there for Divock Origi as well, although I don't think Divock really could have finished that one. And then on to the other midfielder, then James Milner. I love the needle with Klopp. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Klopp mentioned actually that there might have been something to do with his hamstring there, so that's why Thiago played the more advanced of the midfielder roles in the second half, and Milner was told essentially to stop running so hard. And James Milner doesn't know how to do that, does he? And it's 0-0 when he goes off. The substitution does kind of change the game, bringing Kurt Jones in and then obviously getting a goal first off. But James Milner, I thought, was outstanding again. I'm going to give Millie an 8. I thought he cropped up everywhere. Was it left? Was it right? Centre? Does everything, all that we wanted. And I'm really sorry to not be able to get the votes going, but it was just opening over and over again and really off-putting for me. So we'll move on then to Divock Origi. In fact, we'll do Shakiri next, of course, because he played that sort of 10 role, didn't he? It was a little bit of a different performance from Shakiri, and I thought first half, Paul called it quite well about him being a little bit safe and stuff like that, and maybe that was to do with the position of Origi and Salah and all that type of stuff. But, you know, Shakiri, I mean, his last touch of the game was clearly his best touch of the game. What a ball that is from Mo Salah. And he puts it on a plate for him, and yet it's not on a plate at the same time because there's so much work still to do. But he gets an assist on the day, and because of that assist, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10 as well, because I loved that, to be honest with you. Then we'll move on to Divock Origi, who I thought was probably the quietest of Liverpool's starters. I think he performed the function, and he did a good job in that. Wasn't really a major threat for West Ham, though, was he? I mean, he gets that bar line once, nearly gets himself an assist. I think it's Salah who he tries to cross the ball to. That was brilliant wing play, and I like the fact that he goes around the outside and he isn't afraid to use his left foot. But again, I'm going to give him I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10, Origi, because I still think there's more to come from Divock. And Mo Salah, I mean, let's just start right now with a 10 out of 10 because he was man of the match for a reason. Obviously, that first goal is brilliant. I mean, Cresswell doesn't do enough to stop him cutting in on his left foot, and then he just bends it in. And now, you know, we're up to the point where he's talked about like Liverpool legends, because I think he's the 4th or 5th player to score four back-to-back 20-goal seasons for Liverpool Football Club, and he's just brilliant. And that second goal, though, I mean, the first is fantastic, but the second goal is where it's at, isn't it? The way he controls the ball with the bottom of his foot, with his right foot as well, and then finishes with his left. I mean, it's just outstanding, and we needed that little moments of brilliance from Mo to obviously break the deadlock with the first. Then the second puts the game to bed for me, and I thought he was brilliant. And Jones, I thought, who comes on as first substitute, obviously for James Milner, he's a big part of that goal, isn't he? You know, he basically gets an assist for Mo Salah in that one. He's dribbling, he's strong on the ball, and he's got a lot to give us. And I thought for a substitute appearance, that's really good, an 8 out of 10. Bobby Firmino comes on, gets himself an assist as well. And we started to play some really nice football, actually, when Bobby was on there. And that third goal, I mean, the second goal's brilliant, the third goal's brilliant as well. But the third goal's where the confidence comes from. I said that to Paul during the live watch-along and stuff, is that's how you break teams down. It's that intricate passing, and we carved West Ham apart there. So for me, Bobby's going to get an 8 out of 10 as well. And then finally, I'm going to give Oxlade-Chamberlain, I'll probably give him a 7 out of 10 maybe. I thought he was outstanding in the third goal. I think he picks the ball up fairly deep, he plays the ball out wide, then he gets himself in between the defenders and stuff. There's a lovely, cute little sort of flick back to Bobby Firmino, and then Bobby's got a choice of either shooting or assisting, and he picks out Gini Wijnaldum, and Liverpool put the game to bed, and it's 3-0, and we obviously can see the goal a little bit later on and whatnot, but the game was never in doubt. That's a big performance from Liverpool Football Club. Saw Souness and the lads on Sky there talking about a Liverpool back and stuff like that, talking to Jurgen Klopp and stuff. For me, that's a great performance against a good side. It's a great performance with a makeshift backline again, and it's a makeshift front line as well. And there was so much talk before the game, wasn't there, about the front line and Shakiri and Origi starting. Well, that decision's vindicated for Jurgen Klopp then, and his substitution was superb during the game as well. Jurgen's going to get a 9 out of 10. That is player ratings done and dusted. Thank you, everyone, for jumping in and getting involved, and apologies with the poll not quite working as it should do. But we're going to be back very, very shortly. It'll be Paul and Ben Kelly on the Instant Match Reaction. So if you want to stick around here, you'll be automatically carted over to that video. Like the video, subscribe to the Redmen TV, and we'll see you next time. Ta-ra.
Thank you so much for watching the Redmen TV YouTube channel. Everything we do here is funded by our wonderful subscribers to theredmentv.com. Get over there, sign up and get amazing additional content, interviews, documentaries, mini-series, and of course additional pre and post match day content.